Gavin LERENA with us, and the first and most important thing is that in the week of a big race, nobody likes to take a tumble, but you've taken precautionary measures. I know that you've got the best medical team around. How are you feeling?
I'm doing well, Bonnie. Obviously a lot of hard work at home, physios and the chiropractor and needling and getting my neck to be mobile again and feeling good.
So it was more or less whiplash rather than anything else. No damage skeletally, obviously.
No, thank goodness not. I was a bit worried about my wrist, but the wrist ended up better than the whiplash.
Okay, so you're going to the track on Saturday and you're thinking to yourself, if you had to pick two horses that you think would be worthy bankers in place accumulators, or maybe even pick sixes or quartets, what would they be?
It's a tough one. I think Being Fabulous has improved nicely. She wants the Oaks, she wants the distance, and Master Sabina, my heart's always with him. The TURFFONTEIN 2000, that's his game. Obviously at level weights it's difficult to beat the favourite, but we'll be giving it our best. And you can draw a line through his last run. He had a hoof abscess and got it all under control. And Pagoda, I think from draw one in the Derby, he's the dark horse in the race. He won a good Derby trial with top weight, and I think he's going to be competitive.
There are merit ratings to be taken cognizance of, but there's also the racetrack. And if you take a look at Legal Eagle's win last year over 2,000 metres, I think he beat Brazuca and French Navy. Having said that, there's no doubt in my mind that Master Sabina is easily capable of beating both Brazuca and French Navy.
Certainly on his day. We just hope we got him in tip-top shape, but if he brings his best to the track, he'll be competitive.
Yeah, it seemed a small field. They both got ability. They're both coming along the right way, and probably hard to single one of them out. It's a competitive race, and depends on the pace really. If they go very hard, then it would suit Bold Viking, and if it's a comfortable pace, it would suit the fillies. So I don't think either of them could be ignored.
Double floating bankers for trifectas, quartets?
It's a little bit blasé to say double floating banker, but I mean, at the end of the day, they should both be there.
Fantastic. Then we go on to a very busy race for you. Capitan, MACHISMO, MOMBELA and RIBOVAR.
Yes, we had to run a few more because that field wasn't going to stand up. I think probably MACHISMO on his last win, there was a lot to like about his win, but he is stepping up. MOMBELA would probably be the class horse. His last run was a little disappointing, but I think he may have just needed that. I think he was coming back from a little bit of a virus. And Capitan, we were happy with his last run. RIBOVAR, he's got me in between distances. I think he wants the 14, and yet he's let me down around the turn a few times, so he'll be running on well. Yeah, he's dropped in the weights. We find ourselves at the bottom of the weights. He stays well. Obviously prefers it soft, but we take our chances and hope that he gives an honest race.
Yeah, on his day, he's definitely a competitive runner. He hasn't really had the same form that we had going into Cape Town recently, but hopefully we've changed one or two things in his work, and hopefully that just allows him to come back to his best.
Yeah, it would be very nice for Benny and his partners. They are quite passionate about this fella.
Yeah, he's a great bunch of owners, and it's been fun. He's won 5 races, so he's done nothing wrong. But if he can win another one, it would be awesome.
Okay, now we get into the really juicy stuff. The fourth sees the very speedy, very talented BARRACK Street and WONDERWALL team up.
Yes, 2 lovely horses, and the prep's gone well. I'll give them both chances. Obviously, healthy respect for the KOCK coupling, and obviously the national colour baby looks special. But my 2 are ready. It's hard to single one out. I mean, neither of them have done anything wrong, and they should both do well, run well.
Yeah, very fortunate to have these two horses in this race. MUSTAAQEEM, very impressive first time out. He's the type of horse that doesn't give away much at home, but he definitely left it for the races. I'm sure he'll do the same on the day. His prep's gone pretty smoothly, so we're very happy with him. NAAFER, also a very big, strong, powerful horse. First time out he ran in the soft going and was very green, and we were slightly disappointed, but I just definitely think he hated the going on the day. His next run was a week later and he just, he won very comfortably. He's a very nice horse. If Anthony can just keep him calm and settled in the race, also a big runner.
Desert Rhythm, she definitely found the 1100 a bit sharp the last time that we put in one of these features. We're hoping that the extra may just suit, but I still think Green Plains would be the right one of MATHEW, and she should be competitive.
Yeah, very nice filly. Silver Thursday was a little bit surprising. Not that she wasn't showing nice work, she was showing nice work, but I just thought she would run a little further and would have been green, but the way she won was very impressive, so she could be anything. Fish River needed the run. She came off a little virus and temperature, and she's quite a big burly type of filly, so that definitely, she definitely has come on from that run, and I would say that there will be a lot closer between the two of them because Fish River at home shows quite a bit more than the other filly.
The filly's Guineas winner, Smiling Blue Eyes, not having asked you the question, I was none the wiser as to her somewhat disappointing performance on form, but shed some light on us and give us some projection.
Yes, she obviously pulled up with a virus, and there were a few things that were wrong. She had a temperature the next day. She was quite quiet. And she seems to be back. It's hard to be confident though when 5 weeks ago we had a problem, but I'm just hoping that we've rescued it in the nick of time. It's not ideal going into 2450 with a question mark, but I think she's a very good filly, and if she's right on the day, she'll be right there.
Yeah, because she did look like the kind of filly that could go all the way.
Oh no, she's good enough. There's no doubt about that. And if I was confident she was at her best here, I would be bullish.
Yeah, she went into the Classic sort of underdone, and we didn't expect anything more. Not having had a race before that, she appears to have done very, very well, and she's had another couple of gallops in between that. She's a horse that is, I think, definitely looking for the mile and a half. The brother went a mile and a half and further, and the way she races, coming from off the pace and sitting, I think the TURFFONTEIN mile and a half is going to be right up her alley, and I think there's an awful lot of improvement in her. In the Classic, they didn't go that quick, and which is the winner's obviously a good horse, but they just finished in a heap, and I think if you really ran that race, you get a different result every time, just looking forward to Saturday. It's just a great day's racing.
You predicted enormous improvement with Belrose, which you got in the Classic, and Orchid Island, well, she's game. She's definitely going to stay, and she's very well bred.
Yeah, Belrose, she's had quite a tough campaign this season. She ran twice in a week. With the second run was the Classic where she ran a cracker. I have a little bit of a doubt about her though, because she's out of Vin Fizz, and Pierre Jordan never saw the Derby trip, and Champagne Hayes is like a sprinter miler. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, but otherwise she's in great form, and I guess she's got Golden Sword as her sire, who's very well bred and has a start pedigree. I have no doubt in Orchid Island. She's by Silvana out of Ilha Grande and should definitely see the trip out. She's got great heart rates. She's also come out of the race very well, doing well at home, although she doesn't show much. But we're happy with her, and things should map out nicely for her in the race.
Well, Jeff, I think it's worked out pretty well with all the stress of the sales that you only have to get to the races an hour before the sixth race, where you represented by both the very improving Bipot and Parabola.
Yeah, difficult race, the Oaks, Andy, but Parabola very lightly raced, and certainly no issues with the distance. I think she's going to like it. Out at the merit ratings, but I think that's just because of possibly lack of opportunity to earn points, but she's a smart little filly, and I think she's going to be certainly running at them and not out of it. Okay. Just really a question of, does she truly stay out, see out the 2-4-50? If she does, then I think she's going to be a pretty big runner. Chase felt he might have gone a little early on her last time in the Classic, and she got beaten a short way, so it was a very good run. Hold it up and, hope she lasts the trip.
A horse to savour and to enjoy. I mean, he really showed what he's worth in the Classic. A horse that the people really seem to have cottoned on to, Heavenly Blue.
Yeah, he's a very nice horse, and we're very lucky to be working with him. Obviously, the step up of 650 meters is a massive step up. He has SMIUNG and Furiosa held, but you never know, they may really relish the extra distance. On analysing the field, probably the only one that's, in my opinion, is a danger is Pagoda. It looks like a nice progressive horse. If he enjoys the trip and can reproduce that same tone of wits over this distance, then obviously he's a big runner.
And as we have discussed very briefly before, his style of running is just ideally suited to the mile and a half, the way he relaxes.
Yeah, he's a very laid-back horse, and I think any pace they go will suit him. Anything Caden does with him will suit him. He's very easy to ride.
If there are two horses that have any chance of lowering the colours of the favourite in the South African Derby, Heavenly Blue, it would have to be SMIUNG and Furiosa.
Yeah, nice coupling to have in the race, and obviously healthy respect for Heavenly Blue. Furiosa, I think his last run is pretty much a true reflection of his ability. But I think SMIUNG has improved. I think the third one after arrest is gonna play a part, and he certainly wasn't where I wanted him in his last run. So I'm expecting big improvement.
Pagoda, very progressive. He bumps up against the big guns.
Yeah, he does. Look, it's a big test for him, and he's out at the weights, the merit ratings anyway. But I was very impressed with his Derby trial win. He won it convincingly. He carried a big weight, dished out quite a lot of weight. And he's a little horse. Levels with this lot, well, we might not have the class, or we don't know, but we're pretty sure he'll stay.
Excellent. And then on to the two speediest horses in the land, just about. Carry On Alice and Trip to Heaven. Their prep seemed to be absolutely faultless.
Yes, Trip to Heaven was scratched also probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago with a virus, but he seems to be doing well. He's a picture of health. He's moving well. He's working well. Obviously, 5 furlong is a little bit of a question mark. We saw him running on really strongly in Cape Town, but that is a more testing 1,000 with that wind as well. And it would be, it's going to be tough for him if he loses ground, but hopefully he jumps a little better. And Carry On Alice, everything's gone well. I think she's probably the right horse in the race, and let's hope everything goes smoothly for her.
So you've got to have a real wide set of binoculars, one for the front and one for a horse that is notoriously slow out the gates and lots of firepower.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a Group 1. Neither of them have anything to prove, although on paper, Trip to Heaven hasn't won a Group 1, the one that he did when they took away in the boardroom. But lovely to have a coupling like that, and just hoping for a good, honest run from both of them.
Carry On Alice, her record speaks for itself. Trip to Heaven, he hasn't done much wrong, has he? And Sean Terry's horses are in a rich vein of form, but it doesn't stop there. Brutal Force has been running well. A very competitive field, but he's not without a chance. This horse is steeped with ability, and he's going to make his presence felt. And I think he's going to be a horse for the future in the sprint races to come. By no means a slouch, and it wouldn't surprise me if he won. I think he has the ability to win a race like this. Your horse doesn't run 55 seconds if he's that slow. And in that Labello, he clocked 55 point something. So I think he's going to be in the shake-up. He just needs to behave himself. He can be pretty naughty in the pens and a monster to saddle up. But if he comes and he behaves himself and he behaves in the pens and gets out on terms, he'll be there. Yeah, Andrew, obviously being a half-brother to Soft Falling Rain, he has ability. But I think in this field, thank God I'm the owner, because I only have to explain to myself and to Brian, who's partner with Rivarine, so he's got a fair sort in Rivarine backing up there. But he's earned his right to run in the race, and I'd be very happy if he placed. But we're taking up our chances. Without a ticket, you haven't got a chance.
He's just lovely, family horse. He is a family horse. You can stick your family on his back. He's great, and it's so great to have come back from, life-saving collar cop and then poor bugger a throat up. It's wonderful to get him back in form. it probably wasn't the greatest race last time, but I like the way he won it, and I know Pierre liked the way he won it. He pulled up well, and we've been working on him. He's a big, heavy horse, 600 odd kilos, weighs nearly as much as me, and he's just a smashing horse to have around. And I have to say, it's lovely to have Pierre aboard.
Okay, well then obviously the horse that has it all to do and trying to get to that level of recognition and respect as Brutal Force has got Pillar of Hercules.
Yeah, for his horse, I think very much wants some firm ground and maybe a bit further. But his biggest thing is going to be when we cut him, and I think he could then turn into a real Group 1 contender. But we came up here to contest the feature races, and we'll probably cut him after that. But I thought he ran a smashing race last time. Showed his true form, he ran on beautifully, took the blinkers off on him. But he's probably a horse for the future more for Saturday. But if he runs his socks off, he could well run to a place. Thanks a lot.
Joey. Appreciate it.
Thank
you very much.
You're going to pick Gavin's place.
Okay, MOOFEED's work this morning was outstanding. Johnny G's giving us a very upbeat kind of feel. And of course, the son of national colour, RAFEEF, a smashing looking individual, goes to the sprint distance, which is of course bred for, and you've slapped the blinkers on.
Yeah, RAFEEF, we were at a stage of his career where we weren't sure where to go further or go shorter, and we decided to go further after he won the Hawaii Stakes. And that didn't really work out. He doesn't stay the mile. And if you look at his pedigrees by reduced choice out of national colour, which is speed on speed. So this should be what he's crying for, actually. His work's been very good over the shorter distances at home, and we've got a line through MOOFEED, and he's been really pulling MOOFEED along at home. So 16 to 1, I think is pretty good value for him. I think he's definitely in with a shot, and the blinkers are just there. Just to keep him in the race just in the beginning, because we're not sure he's going to go in 1,000. He's never run there before, and if he can just stay within 2 to 3 lengths of the leading pack coming to the last 300-400, I think he's a serious runner. MOOFEED, he's been in great form. His last run was very good. Obviously, he probably would have been a better horse as a gelding, but that's way far gone now.
Yeah, it was an impressive win. I wasn't confident on the day because of things hadn't gone smoothly in terms of a preparation. And he actually blew me away with what he delivered on the day. Things have gone smoother, and let's just hope that he can keep his reputation intact.
French Navy?
He also had a fantastic preparation, Andrew. I think the tongue ties made a big difference, and he'll be there.
And Stonehenge, would it be fair to say that he is there to make sure that it's a decent gallop and pick up whatever pieces he can?
Yes, sure. For this kind of money, they're paying a lot of money all the way down the line, and he's in good order. Obviously, got it all to do here. I thought it was a fair run the last time. He may have just gone a bit too hard, and maybe if we get the fractions right, he won't disgrace.
There's not much that hasn't been said about Mother Russia. What a great Group 1 winning filly she was. Now, her daughter's following in her footsteps, but possibly even with more scope on the distance side, and she finds herself in a hell of a race, but she may just be equal to the task.
Yeah, the great thing about her is it's a little bit of an unknown how she's going to go, because she's only run with the fillies so far. She's got a beautiful weight of 55.5 because she never got a penalty for winning a Group 1, as the weights were published already. So that's a big plus. The jaw's a big plus. Craig Zacky's a big plus. There's a lot of positive things going into the race. Obviously, horses like Legal Eagle are very, very good horses, top horses, and if we can run second or third, then she hasn't diminished her form in any way, because that'll be a big step up for her. We've elected to go to this race because we're probably not going to go to Durban. We do like to kind of space our races with her a little bit, but unfortunately we can't. But she's taken her last race very well. She's in good form as usual, and we'll just be very happy with a nice run on Saturday.
For a lot of money, you're taking on the dual horse of the year, represented by two very hard-knocking, sincere 2,000-metre horses in Master Sabina, one of the all-time favourites, and of course Deo Givente.
Yeah, look, I don't think any of us are under any illusions. We shouldn't be able to beat Legal Eagle. He's slung in at the weights, and he the obvious horse to beat.
I was speaking to Tim while the horses were working this morning, and he said that he was obviously disappointed, as were you, with Master Sabina's prep run. But there was a little bit of a niggle, a little bit of a minor excuse there.
Yeah, look, there was, and he certainly wasn't prepped for that race. We basically put him in there with that to be his last gallop, but a race is always better than a gallop. and just blow him out. I was disappointed with his run. I thought both he and Gioventi actually disappointed me slightly. I know we won the race, but I feel that the pair of those two should have been right with both Master Switch and Go Direct. So a little bit put off. Master Sabina had a bruised foot. Whether it's enough, I don't know, but no such issues now. We poulticed it and it's all nice and cool. And I think his work now is right back to the best Master Sabina. So he loves that track and trip. So, and you never know what you're going to get with him. He's 7 now, so now and again he would, chuck in a bad race, but he'd rectify the situation, and I hope he does.
And then an incredibly strong hand in the Gerald Rosenberg with all of Guinea's winner, Heaps of Fun, Intergalactic and Trophy Wife representing your team.
Yes, I think things have gone well for them, although Intergalactic was a little disappointing in her last start, but also second run. Third run, the question mark is obviously the distance, but she has run well over the distance before. Heaps of Fun also on a Wellington run last season, over 2,000. She would have a chance, but I think I'd have to lean towards Trophy Wife.
Yeah, she's a nice filly. I thought she ran a good race last time. It may not look that way in the form, but she was drawn the widest and sat at the back. And if you watch, she runs on all the way. So on paper, she's by a new approach out of her Druid's Choice mare. So it's not really suggesting she'll go 10 furlongs, but her running style and the way she finishes her races off, it'll be interesting, because if she does, then she's a serious factor. In the same race, we have the Centenary. She didn't run too well last time. She was coughing afterwards, which is not like her. She's much more suited to this 10 furlongs anyway. She was going to need the run. She seems to have come through the race well, and she definitely has a place chance.
Look, obviously it's a lovely race for trying to get black type on these fillies and mares, but in Anna, we're just guessing that she might get the 2,000. We're not sure. Rider as though she doesn't stay. She only had the one start up here. She was in need of that run, and I thought she finished very, very well. So she's clearly got a bit of class about her. Zante, maybe a shade on the sharp side for her. She does look like a 1.5 mile filly, but if it's a good honest pace, she'll probably run well, because finally to sort of meet these fillies at level weights as opposed to dishing out chunks of weight like she had to obviously in her last couple of starts, it's going to help her. Strong girl. I think if it's a good gallop, she'll be in the firing line, because she's fit now, and her coat looks better now than it has since she's ever been here.
I think Sylvan Saint has won a good race, second time of asking. He steps up in class, but he's fitting well, and if he doesn't find the mile a bit sharp, I think he'll be competitive. West Coast Warrior, I think he has been running consistently. He may just be better on the inside track, but in this field he has to take his chance, and he's well handicapped.
I must be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with his effort at the Vaal last time, but I don't know, it was horrible going. It's that 1,000-meter long straight, and I think with the big weight that he carried, and that it was raining. It wasn't nice going at all. I just don't think he enjoyed it. The run prior to that was an excellent run. So track and trip, he's proven, and he's doing very well. So I'd like to think he'll run a big one.
Yes, Andrew, also a horse that isn't the soundest horse in the world, but we've got him sound at the moment, and he's running consistent. And I would say that he's not without a chance. He will be in the shake-up, and he should be in the money.
Exquisite Touch has come good. She hit a little bit of a quiet patch, and certainly found her form now, and I think we've got her in the right place. Obviously there are a few in the race that I do respect, but she's in a good place, and I'm expecting a big run. Tiger's Touch, we were a bit disappointed that she was scratched at the gates the last time. We felt she was moving the best she's ever moved. We feel that she's still moving very well and on her work. It wouldn't surprise me to see her in the money.
Lovely. And then to put the lid on the day, if anybody's swerving off the face of the earth, it's an easy game, isn't it?
Well, they'd like to believe it's an easy game. I don't believe it's an easy game. I believe it's a very tough game. Only fools will carry on and carry on and carry on. But it's a rewarding game. You get these horses and you work on them, and when they deliver for you, you sit back and you think, well, that's what it's all about. But I think Johan Janssen van Vuren's horse would probably be one of the horses that people could bank on the day, and including all the exotic type of bets. She's going to be a tough nut to crack. She's a filly that's steeped with ability, and I think we're all going to be running to fill in the minor place. I think that horse is going to be a tough horse to beat.